Right, so here we are with edition 5 of the FMUL, the final results of such coming up. So, we had Manchester United, we had Royal M, and we had the team whose name I can never pronounce from Bulgaria, and I'm going to continue to call them that. Dobro something. Bulgarian team, anyway. So, qualifiers-wise, we had one person left who could potentially qualify, and he did so. So Junwoo has qualified. Actually, having said that, did Nice Orange get relegated? Yes, Nice Orange got sacked, which means that he actually did qualify, because you have to get three seasons done to qualify. But if you get sacked, then any remaining seasons count as finished. And Nice Orange got sacked in season 2, so that counts as completing all 4 seasons. So Nice Orange has in fact qualified, but Jamie unfortunately has not. So if you'd like to try again, he's very welcome to. But we haven't heard from him since he signed up, so I think it's unlikely. But welcome Junwoo and Nice Orange to the FMUL proper. You will now be in a league that you will see shortly. We will then move on then to the Provisional League. We knew already that no one was going to qualify, and it ended up having absolutely no submissions whatsoever. So Getafe will continue to be the Provisional League, because I figure with no one having even tried, we might as well just keep that the same. So we don't need to do anything different with that. Getafe will, at least for the time being, will continue to be the Provisional League. They may not always be, but for now, we will keep Getafe as the Provisional save. Any of these 5 people, you're welcome to try again next time. It would be good to have you back, and obviously with this new format, you might find it's more interesting for you. Division 3 then, with Manchester United. We had Taguta, unfortunately, disappeared. Frankie, we knew had got sacked. He got sacked earlier on. Zadie also got sacked. This was obviously a difficult save, Manchester United. And Gruti finally did get sacked. He didn't get sacked earlier on, but he did now get sacked. So all of the players in this game had actually been sacked by the end of it, which is interesting. Manchester United, obviously a bit of a basket case in real life, and it seems FM kind of does the same thing. No one's going to last long enough to do 4 seasons. I like the realism there. On to Division 2 then with Royal M. Yeah, we know about Frankie. Frankie the Sack, we're going to call him. We love him, though. Brilliant admin as well. Best admin around. So, I got all sacked as well, unfortunately. That's something I make a habit of as well. Perhaps not quite as often as Frankie, but quite a lot. Bale didn't submit this time. I don't think he did get sacked, but he didn't submit. Chris GLT with a very good score of 227. Well done, Chris. And Silver, 259, an excellent score. He seemed to think it was a record. It's not a record. It's not even that close to a record, but it is very, very good. So well done, Silver. That's a really good achievement. Super League then. Connor has unfortunately disappeared and will not be taking part, at least for the time being. Warmine got 74. Aldi, 165. And Ender, 167. But this season's winner, it's not necessarily the overall winner, we shall see. This season's winner is White Panther. So we will be looking at to see who's gonna come on top. They probably already know, because they know what the difference was before, but I'm not going to give anything up. We will find out. Right, finally we got it working. Thank you, Frankie. That's awesome. So that means, I mean, there's not a lot of jeopardy here. We know that, but it means I know the score's wrong, but it doesn't matter. Let's not worry too much about that. It's actually 166 more than that. But Gruti has qualified, has got promoted. Sorry. And that's all fine. Actually, as it happens, Zany and Frankie, despite getting sacked, have actually been promoted. I will explain why later. Oh, you don't know who's won? I like it. And of course you don't, Vita. Sorry, why would you? Yes. Yeah, no, you wouldn't unless you had a peek. You could have had a peek, but I'm glad you didn't. Don't make fun of me. I appreciate it. Right. So this is where we stood after 3 seasons in Division 2 and the Super League. We obviously knew I was out of it. Bale, unfortunately, was out of it too. But Silver and Chris GLT had it all to play for, despite the fact that they were both probably going to get promoted. Pretty much certainly. Let's find out. That didn't work. No, that did. There we go. And Christielty wins it from Silver, who did close the gap a bit, but not quite enough. So well done, Christielty, on winning the Division 2 Championship. It's a fantastic achievement. Despite the fact that actually you never got better than either of Silver's last 2 seasons. So if Silver had done better in that first season, it would have been really, really close. I know that second season as well, there was a bit of a gap. But those last 2 seasons, Silver really closed the gap. Really good stuff, Chris, but well done, Silver, as well. Pushed him hard. Got quite close in the end, but not quite close enough. That first couple of seasons obviously cost you a bit. But yes, Chris and Silver both promoted. As you can see, though, for various reasons, Bale will also be promoted. He is back in the big time in the Super League. That's due to Warmind sitting out. So although he is sticking around, although he would have stayed in Super League, he's sitting out, and therefore he will not be participating, and we needed to make sure that we had enough people in Super League. So Bale did get promoted. We then have our champion, which is White Panther. Sorry, I didn't build up the suspense as much as I wanted to there. But White Panther has absolutely stormed into it with the only 200 score in the entire in the entire season with Dobrudza. Fantastic stuff. Well done, Ender, for running very, very close. You're unlucky there, but that is quite a comeback. I agree. It's a really good comeback. That second season when Ender got 170, I kind of felt like it might be all over, particularly after the third season when it was close. But really, really good stuff. And yes, Aldi, you are still in the Super League. You get a reprieve, although actually I've just noticed that you would have finished ahead of Warmind anyway. So even if it had been normal relegations, you wouldn't have been relegated. So slight error there. Not a big deal. Don't worry about it, Frankie, but just a tiny little error there that actually Aldi did finish above Warmind. Fantastic stuff. So well done, White Panther. I'm trying to remember, is that your second win? I haven't actually put these in yet. No, it's your first win of this of the Super League. You won the Division 2 last time. This is White Panther's first win. And of course the first time that Vitasoi hasn't won since the 2nd of February when RKJ Gaming won the first ever FMU League Super League. And well done, Chris, for becoming the Division 2 winner. And we officially do have a Division 3 winner. I know he was the only one, but he does get named as the winner. Gruti is the winner of Division 3. And has his name forever into the annals of winning things. Actually, I think he may be the first person to win 2 different leagues in consecutive seasons. He won last year, the last edition's Division 4 with Cavalry. He was the winner. And Man United, he has done the same thing. It may well be he was the only player playing both times. I hope he'll have a more difficult time in Division 2, but let's see if he can make it 3 in a row and get promoted all the way from Division 4 to the Super League in consecutive seasons. If you can do that in this kind of challenge, that is really, really impressive. So well done. Right. So I will obviously post that later. We now have... I just want to kind of do a recap. So Edition 6, we all know, is going to be a little different. We are going to be switching the timings to 1 week per season. So from now on, almost every deadline will be Friday 8 p.m. Although we will be more flexible with that now. We may switch that to later in the weekend sometimes. So there will be some seasons that might be 5 days, some seasons that might be 9 days. Because if we do a Friday night on all the way onto a Sunday night, it might potentially be 9 days. But it'll never be more than 9. It'll never be less than 7. We will be a little bit more. We'll take a little bit more time now because we have more time. Because you'll always have at least 5 days. We will always sort of take our time, and the results show will be a little bit later than the deadline. We've been trying to get the results show started almost immediately after the deadline up to this point. But from now on, we will be a little bit more careful with that, and we'll make sure that everything's correct. There are no errors, and so on and so on and so on. So, Frankie, you're doing a great job, don't get me wrong. But those tiny little errors, like today, it didn't matter at all. But those tiny little errors, we should be able to kind of iron those out. I will try and check as well. So hopefully everything will be a bit smoother from now on in terms of the show as well, because we're not in such a rush. If anyone knows that they're not going to be available for one of the weeks, they won't be able to play. We are going to let people now complete 1 season a week early. Okay, so you can be 1 season ahead if you want. I'd rather people didn't do that in general. So only do that if you think you need to. Okay, but if you think you need to, then you will be rewarded with a 5-point bonus for that. The reason for that is not because we want to encourage people to do it. I don't. I want to discourage it. But the reason we are going to do that is to allow people to do it without losing out all of the points that you could get for challenges, because obviously you won't be able to do challenges. The deadline to get those 5-point bonuses is the challenge publication for that season. As soon as the challenges are published for that season, those points are no longer available, but the challenge points are. Okay, and that will usually be on the Friday evening when the new season starts. So that's pretty much it, I think. Everything else remains roughly the same, and all of the information you need for that will be either on the Discord. And then the Division 2 save, I can now reveal, will be in Spain, and it's Las Palmas. So Las Palmas in Spain are the team that we are going to be taking over in Division 2. The good news is that they are a decent side. They're not actually in the Champions League. I think I misunderstood somebody. They're not in the Champions League, but they have just been in the Champions League in the previous season. So you should have a fair bit of money, I assume. And obviously, I would have imagined that the main objectives will be to get them back into Europe. So a fun Champions League potential save there. Certainly back in Europe for people in Division 2, which I don't know about you guys, but I got very sick of South Africa. They weren't my fun thing. I really like being able to use different leagues that I don't normally use, but I wasn't a big fan of South Africa particularly. So these things happen. I think Las Palmas is going to be a really interesting one. I do think it's going to be an interesting one. Though people know this is the confirmed leagues. Obviously, we don't have a 3 and 4 at the moment. Super League, Ender, White Panther. Yes. Chris GLT, Silver, Bale and Aldi. And then Division 2, Gruty, John Woo, Zany, Nice Orange, Frankie Carlos and Greyed Out Man. They are all in Division 2. Now, in the case of Junwoo and Nice Orange, just bear in mind that we do need to get these in. It's obviously easier now because you've got a full week each season, but unlike most people, you haven't had the sort of chance of proving that you can do it. So do make sure that you do get those in. We do have a rule that if you don't submit seasons regularly, then you eventually get moved into the provisional league, which is where you need to prove that you essentially need to qualify again. It's just slightly different. Well, we're not doing India again anyway. We've agreed that India is now no longer a country that we can use. So it's Brazil, India, and yes, it is indeed time to come up with challenges. Your admins, by the way, are Gruty, Vita Soy, and Chili. Yours is White Panther. Obviously, if there are more qualifiers, they'll all be White Panther, unless there's loads of them, in which case I'll help him out. But at the moment, Chili, your admin is White Panther. So at the end of each season, you send the spreadsheet over to him. Spreadsheet will come out later in the week. It's going to take a while because we need to do we need to get the points fine. I think Las Palmas are probably fine because Spain we've got quite a lot of data for, so that shouldn't be a problem. Napoli we already have as well. Provisional League, no problem. And we've just decided it's going to be who was the team? It was Mulder. We are going to need to do a new one for Mulder, so that's going to take us a little while. It probably will take us until probably Friday night, if I'm honest. So please don't expect the spreadsheet to be ready straight away. You do need to do qualifiers, yeah. So you're going to be Napoli, Chile. Okay, and we do have that's all fine, so that's not an issue because we've had